Good morning, ladies, and happy Facebook Live Friday on this Friday 16th it is. Hey, ladies, as you are piling on to today's Facebook Live topic, where every woman has her turning point, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about mine, I'd love for you to post in the comments whether you are watching live, type live. If you are here watching the replay, just type in replay. I'm always curious to know how many of us join the live versus the replay. Hey, Julianne, thank you so much for being here this morning. So we are talking this morning about a woman's turning point. Hey, Jen, thanks for being here. Looking forward to spending more time with you today. Every woman has a turning point in her life, in her career, in her business, in her relationships. And if you have experienced a significant turning point in your life, in any realm, I would love for you to post a 1 in the comments below. Now, I'm going to be a little more vulnerable than I am usually and share with you a turning point that I experienced a few years back in my business. And I'm going to share with you what that looked like and what the outcomes of that experience was for me personally and professionally in my business, and what it can mean for you. So, I'm going to paint the story a little bit about my turning point. This was about 4 years ago. Now, coaching is not new to me. I'm celebrating the end of this year will be 11 years being an independent professional coach. Hey, Sarah, thanks for being here. Yes, you certainly have experienced your turning point. Awesome. Yeah, and we'll often have multiple turning points in our life if we're doing the work. So for me, one of my significant turning points came about 4 years ago. I had been working in my business for about 6 years. And hi, Leah. And I had been working really hard, right? I was still a one-woman show. It was just me and the family dog slaving away in my home office, reaching out to clients across the globe, growing my brand, getting a roster of clients, perfecting my message, and my marketing. And baby, I was doing it all. And I was doing it like the gold star super student I had always been. But to be honest, ladies, it was really effing hard. And I don't want to minimize that, right? Often on social media and in our, slick marketing campaigns, sometimes we can simplify what the journey actually is. And I do not want to contribute to any woman feeling like she's not cut out for business or success because it doesn't look or feel as simple or as elegant or as easy for her as she sees it being portrayed by others. It was really effing hard. Even though I had started the business because I wanted, freedom, flexibility, time freedom, and money freedom, I hadn't achieved it yet, right? And I had been in it 6 years. I was hanging in there. I had already beaten many of the odds for entrepreneurship success, right? Most entrepreneurs, burn out after the first 3 years. So I was well beyond that, but I was still struggling to get my business reliably beyond the 6-figure level. And this was a turning point for me because I was really at the point where I was ready to cash it all in. Ladies, if you want to be candid today and share in that, post a 2 if you have ever had your business coming to Jesus moment and you start thinking, maybe this isn't meant for me. Maybe it's time to cash it all in. Post a 2 in the comments if you have ever been at that place in your business where you really start doubting and thinking, maybe I need to get a real job, right? Or get something more reliable. Well, that's where I was 6 years into my business. And so it really was in a bit of a last ditch effort for me, that I reluctantly and very cautiously decided to make one Hail Mary action to really turn my business around. Now, keep in mind that 6 years in, I had always worked with a one-on-one coach to help with strategy and implementation and accountability in my business. And I was great at really performing at a high level when I had the support and personalized attention of a one-on-one coach. But one thing I had always resisted was getting into a community, right? Being from a fairly remote rural community, there was no one else doing what I was doing. Now, if that resonates with you, post a 3 in the comments. If what you do in your career or your business is something that very few people around you do, post a 3, right? Do you feel isolated, alone, like you are a lone wolf, often in doing what you are doing and creating what you're creating? Post a 3. That was definitely me. And growing up, being a farmer's daughter, I had always been rewarded and admired for that Lone Ranger mentality, right? That was my badge of honor. So I resisted tooth and nail ever reaching out and developing a real community of like-minded businesswomen that I could lean on for support. Number one, I saw everyone else who did what I did as competition, and I did not want to get close to them. And number two, I really had this mentality that nobody would get what I was doing, right? That nobody understood the vision that I was trying to create, the business that I was in, and how I wanted to operate, right? I really thought I was that special. Hindsight is 2020. Anyway, so those are the reasons why I had always operated in isolation. I'd held myself away. Even though I had a one-on-one coach, I really didn't have other like-minded businesswomen that I was sharing or leaning on for support. So in a Hail Mary, last-ditch effort, this is what I did. I invested significantly in a year-long private coaching and mastermind program with business women from around the globe. Now, significant investment, let me be specific here. I spent $25,000 in one business year to get access to this exclusive community and a coach and mentor that I trusted a great deal. Now, talk about getting outside your comfort zone. That was, I still to this day, I'm not quite sure how I was able to convince my husband to support me in that, because honestly, ladies, I didn't have 25 grand sitting in the bank, right? I'd been struggling to get my business past the 6-figure mark for years. And it was really operating on a, all in, all out business, right? It was a wash. So I put the enrollment fee for this program on a line of credit and said, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to make my money back in this year and I'm going to get on with my life. This is my turning point. So I did. Now, the other thing that got me out of my comfort zone, Leah says, I was just thinking, how did you convince your hubby? That's a topic for a whole nother Facebook Live, and it's actually really interesting. Anyway, so it was a $25K investment to get in the room and get access to this high-level coaching and mastermind program that was a year long. The second thing where it took me out of my comfort zone is that it required that 4 times in 1 year, in 12 months, once a quarter, I needed to travel internationally to get in the room with the other women in this program for a real immersive, intimate experience to do masterminding and to support one another. Now, keep in mind, in 6 years of operating my own business, I had never traveled farther than probably 6 hours away in my minivan to go to networking events, to see clients, or to do any marketing for my business. So this was huge for me. The fact that I was going to leave my husband and kids at home alone and get on a plane and go be a serious businesswoman was hugely outside of my comfort zone. Sarah says, I know how you feel. I've dropped that kind of cash too, and it's a mental event. High five, sister. Okay, the third thing that really pushed me outside of my comfort zone with this turning point is that it forced me, I say forced because that's how it felt in the early days, it forced me to open myself up, share my journey, fears, wins, challenges, vision with other women from around the globe that were also really going for it in their business. And this is something I had resisted for years. This was a lifelong MO that I was the lone wolf, lone ranger, nobody would get me, and I didn't want to talk about it with anybody else. That was huge. So in 3 huge ways, this was a major pattern disrupt for me. The level of investment, the traveling, getting my ass on a plane and going somewhere for 4, 5, 10 days at a time, because some of the travel was international. And thirdly, opening myself up emotionally, energetically to other women and really getting real about who I was and what I was creating. That was a huge pattern disrupt. Now, what happened? Ladies, this is what I really want you to get. I call it a turning point But there were moments in this experience that were, I can only, at the risk of being woo-woo, I can only really accurately describe them as being spiritual experiences. And I'll tell you about one in particular. Now, it was a year-long event, and we had an online forum where every couple of weeks we were getting together as a community. The coach was there, and we were doing coaching and masterminding together on a regular basis. But every quarter we had to get in the room, fly, go to a luxury setting to do some real face-to-face time. And so for the first couple of months, I was kind of circling online, checking out the other members' profiles and their websites, just to kind of see, who were these other ladies and were they, quality people. And I thought, okay, yeah, there's some cool ladies, and I'm looking forward to meeting them. But when I got into that first event, and I think it was in LA, I got into that. In fact, I took my Uber cab to the hotel. I got to the hotel, I checked in, got to my room, and at one point I'm coming down this elevator in this foreign country, didn't know, anybody, traveling solo. And at one point I'm getting the doors open on the elevator, and I'm met face to face with another woman. Now, I had never seen this woman in my life, but she looked me square in the eyes and she says, "Oh my God, you're Heather Petherick." And I thought, holy shit, what have I done? The thing is that what I learned, and that was just the tip of the iceberg, is that the other women in this community were feeling the same way, the exact same way. Alone, unsupported, in some ways lost and overwhelmed in their business. And in the couple of months it took us, to develop an online community, little old Heather Petherick from Southern Alberta, had become unknowingly a celebrity among the other women that were attending. And it still makes the goosebumps stand up on my body, because this is what I realized, among many things, was that I had gotten so used to just seeing my own little problems, my own challenges, and how friggin' many there were, slaving away with the blinders on, in my home office, that I was missing everything else that was going on in the world. And I was closed off to the inspiration, ideas, support, and expertise of other awesome women. But when I opened myself up to come into that community, I realized that I didn't have to see myself any longer as this, this rural Canadian, farm girl trying to make it big. What I realized, and what I saw reflected back to me in these other women, was that I was actually a pretty big deal. And I say that without ego. I say that because I think for many of us, and post a 5 in the comments, ladies, if you ever feel like, you're just trying to fool people, you're trying to become, a serious, legit businesswoman, or you're trying to put on the impressive face for clients. And so often we buy in to that fear and insecurity, and we think we really aren't a big deal. And we forget how much impact, how much talent, and how much effing potential we have, because there's nobody else at home, telling us, reminding us of the impact, the meaning, and the purpose behind what we're doing. Post a 5 if that resonates with you, Leah. You're so sweet. You are a big deal. So are you. Ladies, all of you, each one of us friggin' needs to be reminded on a regular and continuous basis what a big frickin' deal we are. If you are creating a business, if you are leading a team in an organization, you, my dear, are a big fucking deal. And you need to remember that. And that is what struck me like a ton of bricks at my first event in this mastermind and coaching program. Jen says, today, this afternoon has made me have an aha moment. Awesome. So that is one of the turning points in this whole experience for me. Yeah, AAF. Some of the other, I want to be really vulnerable. I want you to get this, that getting out of my normal, that pattern disrupt of investing at a whole new level in myself, traveling, taking myself seriously, and getting access to other women who are up to big shit in business. it was so powerful for me. I remember crying, driving my minivan to the airport early that first morning, going to my first event, and I'm crying to myself, blaring, I think it was Katy Perry on the radio, because at a cellular level, I knew I was becoming a whole new woman. And coming home from that event, I mean, besides the ways that I was challenged, ways I didn't even realize that I needed to be challenged. You know, I'd been operating solo for so long, and you get so close to what you're trying to create that sometimes you don't even see what's right in front of you. Post a 7 if that resonates for you in your career or in your business, right? You've got the blinders on, and all you see is your challenges, your frustrations, and where you're missing the mark. I didn't even know things, you know, you don't know what you don't know. Getting into that first experience, I was challenged in ways. My beliefs were challenged, my fears were challenged, my vision was challenged, my confidence was challenged. In fact, it was broke and rebuilt in a dramatic 3-day turnaround for me. It was really a spiritual, it was a physical, emotional, and it was indeed a financial turning point for me. So you may be thinking, okay, Heather, it sounds like a really fun event. It was a significant moment in your life, but what was the result of it? And this is also what I wanted to share with you, is that I came home from that first event. And remember, I had 4 of those coming up in the year. And I had a year-long opportunity to develop relationships with some pretty AAF women around the globe who were operating, you know, and operating their business and leading their impressive teams. I came home from that first event, and here's what happened. I was so reinvigorated. I was so refreshed. I was so poured into during that single event that I came home, implemented one strategy. It was one idea I got from that group of women. And in 30 days, that one idea that I implemented turned into $18,000 freaking dollars in my bank account. One idea, and there were many during that event. So I wanted to share that with you candidly, because when you open yourself up to a significant turning point, when you show up in a way that you have never allowed yourself to show up, yeah, thank you for the hearts. When you invest at a level that takes you outside of your comfort zone, when you open yourself up to a safe community of high-level other business women, and you receive the support, the challenge, and the inspiration you need to go to the next level, amazing stuff happens. One idea, $18,000, boom, in the bank in 30 days. Now, keep in mind, $18,000 for me in 1 month was like mind-blowing. I remember the first 2 years of my business, I did not make that amount of money, right? I think the first year, 2007, I made like $6,000, and I think the next year I might have made $8,000. So, like, to make that amount of money in 1 month was absolutely mind-blowing, and underscores how significant a turning point this was for me. And I want you to understand how close results like that are for you in your career and your business. How close your turning point can be when you allow yourself to have it. I'm just looking at my notes. What else did I want to share with you today? Last thing I want to share is just, I think, overall, the idea that we often make business, whether we're leading a team in a large organization or whether we are growing our own empire, we make business really complicated. And it's easy to get overwhelmed when you are head down in the trenches, doing it all on your own. And how powerful and how much more simple business can be when you step back and think broader and actually receive the support, the coaching, the mentorship, the masterminding, and the inspiration you need to truly live up to your potential. So ladies, I would love to know what thoughts or comments you have with what I have shared today about a significant turning point in my life and how you can get your next turning point. It really takes breaking the pattern, disrupting your norm in many ways, time, energy, financially, and then having the support and momentum of a rich community and a large enough container of time to truly create amazing results. So, post what are we at? Number 8. If you are lit up about what I'm sharing with you. Really feeling, and many of you have been listening to Facebook Lives lately, receiving newsletters from me and my team, and you know that I am really called in this season of my business to create just that, a turning point for each and every one of you in your career, in your business. So if you are ready to get your turning point and to really finally create the type of results and growth that you know is possible, then private message me and let's see if there's a mutual fit for what I'm offering and inviting you into for where you are right now in your business and your life. Cool? Okay. Questions, ladies, about anything I've shared today? I'm being transparent and candid. So if you've got any questions and you're here on the live or the replay, post them below. I'm going to respond to those now. We're talking today about every woman has a turning point, and I'm sharing with you a little bit about one of mine that occurred about 4 years ago. And I look back now on the decisions I made, and it was a huge leap of faith for me. Like I said, it was in many ways a last-ditch effort for me to turn my business around and create what I now actually am living. And without a doubt, I can say that I should have done it years sooner, actually. I'm kind of sad about the fact that, I resisted it for so long. Jen says, I think I'm about to have one. Yes, I think maybe as well, Jen. That's awesome. Okay, ladies, thank you again for being here. Leah, Sarah, love your ladies' support. Julianne, I love each and every one of you. I remain a faithful cheerleader of all that you are creating and growing in this world. And I want to continue to fan the flames of your awesomeness to help you get to the next level. So have an awesome frickin' Friday. Thank you for joining this Facebook Live Friday. If you're watching the replay, please post your comments and questions below. I always check back and respond throughout the day. So go and have a fabulous Friday. And if it's time for your turning point, send me a quick private message. Thanks, ladies. Mwah. Lots of love. Take care.